Boop. Let's get into it. Soul Not For Sale podcast. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, honey.
Happy New Year.
Want to make some episodes for people who may be by themselves on the New Year, or maybe they just, don't like to do anything on the New Year.
And they want to watch something cool before they go out.
Yeah. Well, no, maybe they don't even go out like us.
Mm-hmm. True. I don't like going out.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you.
We got Joe Rogan and Jason Everman.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very interesting guy. Can you just give us a quick breakdown of who this guy is?
Yeah, for sure. So he was in Nirvana and then Soundgarden.
Yeah.
And then after that, he left music for a little while, moved to New York, became a bike messenger,
Crazy.
then joined the army.
Wow.
So he's done a lot of stuff in his life.
And then became highly decorated in the army.
Yeah, he ended up going back to the army because they invited him back for like a special forces kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy guy.
And he's a ranger. Like, wow. All this stuff. Nuts. But this clip, they're just going to be taught. They get really, really deep, reflective, introspective in these conversations. And this is what I think, I think it makes sense for the new year. Because that's the kind of state you should be in the new year. I know a lot of people like to get drunk and this and that, but I think you should be reflecting on who you want to be and what you want to see in your world in 2024. Don't forget about Soul Not For Sale. We got this. We got Public Enemy #1. That's Jason's account. That's everything he's done so far. So that's who you're about to see speaking. Very interesting guy. Let's get into this clip. Discount code I am Coach Colin. All capital letters, all one word. 1 L in the name Colin. Super long intro. Sorry about that, guys. Let's go.
And any profits that are made are going to go back to the tribe. So it's kind of cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So how much time have you been spending sailing that you're interested in doing this? Have you dedicated a lot of your time to that?
Yeah. Like as much free time as I can. I love getting out on the boat, getting the sails up and just going. I like even just like sleeping on the boat. Like when my boat was moored at this one marina close to my house.
Is that your boat?
That's my boat getting hauled out.
Yeah. Wow. It's a real sailboat.
So the boat name is funny. So remember when I was talking about koala macrame?
Mm-hmm.
So needs bottom paint bad. That's on the to-do list. But I'd modified the name if I ever had a daughter to Gita Alexandra. So it's a name that at once is beautiful and strong. Mm-hmm. So that was a concept. But I'm probably never gonna have a daughter. So
do you have kids?
No.
No kids?
Yeah, no wife, no ex-wives, no kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
How'd you skate through life without?
I don't know. I mean, I guess it wasn't planned. I mean, maybe on a subconscious level, just due to my childhood, I probably avoided it subconsciously.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people with traumatic childhoods or unpleasant childhoods, they say, I don't want to bring that on anybody else.
Yeah.
Because you associate what childhood is and what, being a parent is with what you experienced. You don't think there's another way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I've had friends who'd be like, "Oh, you'd be an awesome dad," and I'm like,
I bet you would.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
And then I don't like going down that road, and then it turns out like, oh, I do suck. Like,
you'd
horrible.
Adjust.
You
talked about your flexibility. You'd adjust. You'd get better at it. It's a strange experience. It's very psychedelic.
Do you have kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have 3 daughters.
Yeah.
Having children is seeing a little person and in engaging with them and having them grow with you and learning about life, and in a lot of ways it gives you a chance to do it the right way. Like you think about what's happened to you and you learn from that, and you learn from your mistakes in raising them, and you learn how to communicate with little people that are just sort of growing and learning. It's very educational. It's very fascinating. It just changes you fundamentally as a human being. It changes everything about you.
I could imagine, because again, going back to just the evolutionary thing, you're kind of fulfilling your mission.
Yes.
As an organism.
It in that way, it really does speak to your DNA. There's something about it, but it's like Dave Chappelle said this to me once. It's a great quote. He said, "Becoming a father didn't just change the amount of love that I have; it changed my capacity for love."
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's very accurate. But some people, their demons don't line up with that endeavor. Mm-hmm. Their whatever it is in their life doesn't line up with it, and they don't make those adjustments because you're going to have to adjust. You're going to have to change your priorities. You change who you are. You change how you think about people. It's what's fascinating with me is I always felt about people that there were these static things. Like, I met Mike, he's 70. That's Mike. He's always been 70. And then you have children and raise children and see them grow from the time they're a little baby to a person who's having a conversation with you that you go to dinner with, you go to the movies with. And you know all their life experiences and the good ones and the bad ones. And it's just, I look at people now like babies. I look at everybody like they're a baby. It's very weird. I go, I wonder what you were like as a baby, because you obviously got to this point from being. I see in my mind, or at least I envision this journey now to get to who you are now. I give people a lot more slack because of it, a lot more. I'm so much more charitable with people and their behavior and their attitudes because of that. Because I realize that a lot of what life is determinism. It's not just free will and who you are. A lot of it is the experiences that were thrust upon you and how you had to react to those experiences and what you were taught and who I have friends with horrible parents, and that battle to deal with these motherfuckers that raised you is like, it's like a constant thing in their life that they never quite get past. And I was very fortunate that my mom, when she married my stepdad, they're very close, and they've been close most of my life. So I've experienced bad, and then I've also experienced like what it's like when a relationship works and when people are kind to each other and get along together. And it's like, so you realize like there's adjustments that everyone can make in this life to make the path smoother and to make it more just, more harmonious. But it really changed how I think about humans. Like, not just like my humans, but all humans, like everyone that I meet. I really think of them as babies. It's very strange, but I think it's kind of I sort of decided to think that way because I was recognizing like the way kids like sort of adopt your thoughts on things. And my kids talk a lot of shit. They're very funny because in my house we talk a lot of shit. We're always making fun of things, making fun of each other, and there's a lot of laughs because that's what I do. I'm a comedian. And to see my kids talk shit and say funny things, it's like, oh my God, I know where you got that from. It's very obvious, but it's also they're very kind too, which is that makes me very proud. And it's very, very nice to be able to raise children in an environment where when they get older, you see them expressing the values that you appreciate and that you think are important.
Yeah, I could see, and I thought
it's not too late.
Yeah, I guess that's the
probably still got some swimmers in there.
The advantage of having the XY chromosome.
Yeah, it is a big advantage. For women. I know women that forgot to have kids. I mean, I say it that way. They didn't forget to have kids, but in our modern Western world, when people prepare for their life, they prepare for what society has established as the path that is the most celebrated, which is financial success. And a career that is something not just that you would be proud of, but that someone would respect. Like this is Debbie, she's a lawyer, and she's a partner at her firm. Like, oh, Debbie's happy. And then you meet Debbie and you're like, oh, Debbie's miserable. She's very successful, but it's not harmonious. She's not happy. And that's, it's so hard when you're in the middle of it and you're thinking so much about how other people view you. And for a lot of people, for whatever reason, they grew up in a way that they didn't get the respect that they deserved, or they were taught that the only way to get respect or the only way to be appreciated or to not feel like a failure is to be financially successfand But some of the biggest failures that I know are financially successful. Some of the biggest messes of a life that I know are people that on paper are winners, and they're not. They're just a disaster, and they're filled with nonsense, and they don't value human experiences and love and camaraderie and creativity and education and just extracting the most fun and the most satisfying life out of this experience. Instead, they're concentrating on money. They want to talk to you about numbers and expansion and are you investing? And I have a business I'd like you to be a part of, and there's a this and then that. And I was like, oh. And you don't realize that it's gonna fucking end, man. And you don't realize it, I think, sometimes until someone close to you does die, and then you go, oh, this is so temporary, and I'm not enjoying this process at all. And one of the things that I'm getting out of talking to you is that you have sought out these difficult but educational experiences. And that's what makes someone fascinating. That's what makes someone cool to talk to. You know, the path of the most boring people to talk to are the people that are just thinking about making money. They're so fucking boring. It's so brutal talking to them because they have this very narrow thing that they're obsessed with, and that thing gives them social status. When someone sees them, it's like, oh, there's Bill the millionaire. Oh, you know, he owns his company and this and that. And meanwhile, Bill's right about to have a fucking heart attack. He's like got very little time left and doesn't even realize it. And he's taking Adderall all day to try to keep up, and you know, doing cocaine and cheating on his wife and fucking flying on jets everywhere. And it looks on paper like he's the man, but meanwhile, he's a disaster. And there's a lot of people like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I was fortunate enough to start figuring out that stuff at a relatively young age, where I made the shift. And I think it's a very human thing to want external validation.
Yes,
you know,
for
it's
sure.
like we're social creatures. We're these tribal creatures. Like we want the other people in the tribe to, you know, go, yeah. But
I like that talk. I like what they're talking about there. The kids and everything. What were you typing?
Oh, just things that stood out to me.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. Yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about this whole thing.
Well, they mentioned really briefly Jason Everman's childhood. And I read about it a little bit. So he definitely had a bit of a rough one. So it kind of explains why he didn't want to have kids. He, I guess, grew up with both of his parents, and it didn't work out. So didn't really grow up with them. His mother left with the kids when he was 3. And just moved away. So I don't think his dad was very much involved in his life. And the mother was depressed and was a pill-popping alcoholic, according to his half-sister.
Wow.
And his half-sister and Jason learned to walk on eggshells and take care of themselves.
Wow.
Yeah. And then he was put into therapy to deal with some emotional issues and began playing guitar because of that, because it was kind of like a therapy to him.
Wow. That's really interesting.
Yeah. So he was kind of, obviously didn't have a smooth childhood. And it messed him up a little bit, but kind of makes sense saying that he, like, I don't know if he didn't want to have kids or he just thought he'd be a really bad dad just because of what was going on in his life.
It's probably both. Both. You know what I mean? Like, I have a brother that's like that, where he saw, like, the bad childhood that we had, or, like, saw marriages not work out, and then he's like, I don't want any part of that.
Yeah.
You know? Because you kind of instantly think, like, you know.
That's just how it is.
Yeah. That's 50% of me and 50% of me that couldn't do it, and I'll probably be like them. And then, you know, like, you just kind of have that thought process, and then you don't want to pursue it.
Yeah. I always think that thought process is, like, kind of backwards, though. Because just as important as it is to have good role models, it's also important to have bad role models in your life.
Yeah. That's the thing. A lot of people who feel that way, that feel the way Jason feels there, they don't realize that is the reason why they would be such a strong parent.
Yes.
Like, that's why they would be so good at it. They never get that.
Yeah.
You know, because it's hard when you're dealing with the whole trauma stuff that you went through.
Yeah.
You're kind of sitting there like, you just feel like you won't be able to do it.
Yeah. Especially if you haven't, like, fully dealt with that trauma.
That, and then also the scariness of having a kid, the giving yourself to somebody, knowing how it could end, like how it could become.
Yeah.
You're still going to go through the whole marriage and be with that person and kind of open yourself completely up, trust-wise and heart-wise to that person. Like, all that becomes even scarier when you know what could happen.
Yeah.
And then you have no example in front of you of the other side of things.
Yes.
Of how it could be really nice and really good.
Yeah.
You know? So I get it.
I always think of, like, the negative experience. It's kind of like a game of Operation. Like, when you're living your life, you're playing Operation.
Yeah.
And when you start, like, if you touch the side, that's like your warning signal, because you know exactly what you're not supposed to do, and it buzzes you back to the middle.
True. That's a good way to see it. Operation.
Yeah.
And then also, I guess, like that game, if I stay in that analogy, you're gonna hit the sides.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's gonna happen.
You are.
And the game goes on.
But the whole point is that you recognize it.
Yeah, exactly. That you correct it and you steady yourself.
Exactly.
all that stuff. And then you don't just flip the game over like some kids do and just get everything out.
Yeah.
They're pissed. But yeah, that also makes me think, as you're saying that he picked up the guitar. I was doing interviews with people in 2018 where I kept asking the question, and I'm still always so heartbroken about this. Like, I did like 100 interviews. I only posted maybe like 10 or 15, maybe 20. And then the hard drive that they were on died. Mm-hmm. So I had so many interviews. But one question that I would ask everybody is, do you think that there needs to be trauma or like very hard, things like what he went through in order to become a good artist of any kind, like music, painting, anything? And as much as I don't think that's necessary, I always see it,
Yeah,
like
that's
there's
true.
few artists where they're like, everything was good and both parents supported me.
Yeah.
You just rarely see it, especially with the ones that are the greats that get to Nirvana and Soundgarden.
I feel like that might have something to do with expectations as well, because if you have a really good relationship with your parents, everything went great, you'd want to make them proud and do something that they would see as successful. So I feel like you'd be driven into more of a mainstream path versus people who are artists. If they didn't have the best childhood, maybe they would not care and just want to do something to express themselves and not stress about that expectation of their parents. Yeah,
they don't have the expectation, and also, like you said about him, kind of used it as a therapeutic tool.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, I see it all the time. And I've interviewed painters, I've interviewed producers, I've interviewed actors, everything that you can think of in terms of a medium. And I always see that the ones, especially asking them, they all say yes. I think there hasn't been any that have said no.
They all think there's like trauma necessary.
Yeah, because they see it, they felt it, like the people they look up to also went through it. It's like it's just a continuous thing that you see. Yeah. It's weird. It's very, very weird.
And also, I think it would be rare to find anybody who has zero trauma.
Yeah, that's another thing, right? Like, well, there's some, like Joe Rogan has said before, the hardest thing you've gone through is the hardest thing you've gone through.
Yeah.
So everybody has their thing that they've gone through, but when you see somebody who's incredible at something and then you hear about their life, you're like, oh, that's wow. Yeah. Like, that's really, like, it's very rare that you're like, oh, it wasn't so bad. You're like, oh my God, how'd you live through this? True. Like, it's very, I don't know, I've looked into it. And even when you look at Joe Rogan himself, he had a quite a hard childhood. He talks about being bullied, and that's what got him into martial arts, because he got beat up, and he was like, oh, I'm never going to have this happen again.
Yeah, that's good.
And then also, he's such a hard guy because, and this actually brings me to one thing that stood out to me, such a hard guy. He had the experience of something happened and everybody was mad. He like hit somebody, and then his dad, his actual dad, not his stepdad, was like, did you cry? And he's like, no. He's like, good. Never cry.
Oh my God.
Yeah. When he was like 5 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So his dad, when he talks about like, I've seen the bad, he's talking about his dad and his mom, how it didn't work out. But that also moves me to think, I wonder, because he talks about seeing people as babies and everything and cutting people slack, I wonder if he's ever learned to cut his dad that slack.
True. People always have more trouble doing that with their own parents.
Yeah. I'm glad because of, the stuff that I've experienced, this stuff here. I've been able to do that with my parents. Yeah. Very, I wouldn't say easily, like, going through a bunch of experiences on the psychedelic realm is tough. It's tough to go through, especially at the rate I did. But I was able to let that go with them. Yeah, and I'm very happy that I was able to do that, because I do see exactly what you're saying. A lot of people can't. Yeah, and I'm just like,
it's hard to let go of that resentment.
I'm like, they're just people. I'm like, they're just people who tried stuff. Yeah, who weren't good at things,
and that's okay.
And then I have also the introspective. I'm like, I'm not good at so many things, and when I was younger, I was even more terrible. And and if I had to go through XYZ at this age, like I would have, like, who knows what I would have done. Like, yeah. So I get that a lot.
I like to think about that too. Like I think about like my parents as they are now were not the same as when they had me and my brother and sister.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
So it would be more like my mom was my age. So what would she be like at that point in time?
Yeah.
And it's like you're learning everything as you go.
Yeah, you really are. You really are. In terms of, especially when it comes to kids.
Yeah.
Like no one can, like your dad said to me, like, you know, the best time to have them is when you have them.
Yeah.
Because, like, what are you going to do? You're not going to get prepped. You're not going to read a book and your kid's going to fall into every category of that book.
No.
You know?
It's just not going to happen.
The kid's going to be completely different. So you really are just learning things out of nowhere. And then you have to think of, like, the epigenetics, the things that are around you. So your mom was your mom learning everything, but like, she had your dad. Like, you have me. So it's a completely different expression of how things are going to be.
Exactly.
You
and
know?
completely different life
It's
and
just,
everything else.
So it's so hard for me to hold grudges towards my parents. Or anybody really now.
That's good.
Really, really hard.
And that's kind of like Joe was saying, that you see everybody as babies and they all have different learning and growth, and everything in their life made them become who they are.
Yeah. I don't go to the babies. Maybe I will when we have our baby or our babies, you know, babies. A bunch. Gonna have 7 kids.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like maybe I'll think of it like that, but I just think of it as how hard it is, especially for me when I was like 17 to 28, how hard things were and how much addiction I had and like all of this stuff. And it's like when I look at other people, I'm like, yeah, you're probably going through some stuff too.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'm not the only person going through stuff.
Perhaps.
Maybe I'm not the only person going through like hard things.
Yeah.
You know? So I just think of that. But yeah, I wonder if he's able to cut his dad that slack, or if he's ever thought about, he was a baby. I wonder what he went through. You know?
True.
Because David Goggins talks about that in regard to his dad, because he had a terrible, terrible dad who did terrible, terrible things to his mother and his brother and to him, like just terribly abusive. And I think in his other book, or maybe it was in a podcast, but he was talking about his dad and what his dad went through when he was a kid. And his dad, or I guess his grandfather, would sit his dad, like, it's funny because Goggins would talk about him like being from hell and like how just like hellish he was and terrible. But his grandfather would sit his dad in front of a furnace,
oh my
like
gosh,
a hot furnace, when he would do something bad. So his dad would have to sit there in front of heat and just like sit there and just deal with it as a little kid.
Oh.
So it's like, yeah, it made him hellish.
Yeah.
It put this fire in him because he literally was in front of fire all the time.
Wow.
So it's like, ugh. So who knows? Who knows what happened? It's nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So I hope one day, because from what I know, his dad's still around. Yeah, his dad's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he lives in New Jersey or New York, Boston, something like that. But his dad's still around. Yeah.
Wow.
I've seen him. So, yeah, who knows? But that's a hard thing. Especially as, not just as a regular person, as a famous person, you're like, no, he doesn't get this. He's not getting this version of me.
Yeah.
As 100 millionaire, and no, he doesn't get that. No, he didn't do anything for me. You know, like there's probably a little bit of that. Like, you don't, like, what the hell?
But he probably did do a lot to shape that person.
Well, that's the thing. Like when I coach people, I often try to bring them to that place of seeing the hard things they've gone through as shaping and beneficial.
Yeah.
And understanding that they wouldn't be there without them. And it's kind of a practice. There's like an exercise I have people go through where you're trying to kind of convert resentment to gratitude. And it's very hard for a lot of people. But I find, just through my own experience, when you can get there, it's so much better. It just reshapes how you look at everything that you've gone through.
Yeah.
And if you have like a super traumatic life, like think about how hard it was and how bad it was. If you could switch that and have all of that in your mind actually in your mind, not just you like trying to put something on, but actually see it all is beneficial and see the things that it did for you, it changes everything for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So yeah, it's rough. It's rough. I hope he's able to do it. I really do. He's given me a lot, so I hope he's able to actually do that for himself.
Yeah.
But what else? What else in this whole thing? What else do you have? I have another one.
I liked
what?
That Joe Rogan was saying that it's really fun when he sees his kids like say something funny.
Yeah.
Or that they're really kind and he's really proud of that.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that probably one of the biggest accomplishments you can have as a parent is instilling a trait like that in your children if you don't necessarily have that in yourself.
Yeah.
Like that would be like the best thing ever if you were able to teach them something that you don't live naturally.
Yeah, something you had to learn and push really hard. Yeah. That's true.
I think that'd be so rewarding.
I often think that, well, I don't often think it, but I notice how much I become like my mom. And it took us moving in together and living together. I become very much like her in cleaning and stuff. Like, we gotta do this. You gotta clean this. Like I noticed, like that's very much how she is when we were kids. And I wonder if she was like that, you know, or if that was something she had to like ingrain in herself. And now, you know, I don't talk about it all that much, like a little bit. But if she saw that in me, she'd be like, "Oh, look at that. Oh, he cleans stuff now, does he?" Because I hated cleaning stuff when we were growing up. I hated it. And she had a cleaning company, and I hated it. And then I had a cleaning company, and I hated it. And I was like, ugh. But now it's just like, laundry has to get done. We're doing it. This has to get clean. Kitchen has to be clean. I used to hate cleaning the kitchen.
Yeah.
And now I'm like all about it. Just like you're all about like being frugal with money when you have to make it. When you're the one that has to, when you have to make money, all of a sudden you're like appreciative of money.
Yeah.
When you're the one who has to deal with the kitchen, now all of a sudden you want the kitchen to be clean.
True.
But when I was a kid, I was like, who cares? We can do it later. And later meant like, I'll just hope I come down and you have done it for me. So yeah, that's very true. And I was actually wondering when he said that in terms of our household, what do you want that to look like? Because I can talk a lot of shit. Yeah, I can. I don't because I know you don't exactly come from the degree that my mom would do that.
Yeah.
But we would talk a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, should I make it like that? Because also there's the side of like you want your home to be the gentle place that you can come to.
Yes.
Like away from that. Or like I guess we need a balance of it.
Yeah, for sure. Like I want our kids obviously to have, I feel like being funny takes a lot of intelligence.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to pick things out.
Yeah, quickly.
And say it in a way that is not disrespectful.
Yeah.
But that points out the fun in it.
Delivery, yeah.
Yeah. So I think if it can be framed in a way like that, so it's not mean in any kind of way, that's great. Like if our kids can actually make fun of me.
We'll see.
And it's from an intelligent, like happy place, I'm totally into it.
If they're like me, we'll see. We'll see. That'll have to be one of those things we instill.
Yeah.
That's not ingrained.
Just wait. They're going to come out and they're just going to be all full of puns and you're going to hate it.
I'm fine with puns. I just don't think they're hilarious.
I think it's so funny.
Like I can make them. They're just not funny.
They'll start out with puns. It's like my childhood humor.
Because like for me, comedy, my mom was not making me, but she was watching stand-up since, I was 7, 6.
Yeah.
That's why I started doing stand-up. Because she watched it so much. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. I want to do it one day. I have to get her in there when I do it one day. I have to bring her to one of the shows or something.
Yeah,
that'd
be good.
Sure to do that soon. Super soon. Before she runs off back to Barbados. She's always running back and forth.
Yeah. And tells you the day of.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So I gotta really get on that. Another one that I liked that he brought up at the beginning, because you could tell Jason was scared. You got to pursue what's scary.
Yeah.
In life, in 2024, for everybody who's still listening, in 2024, you have to pursue what's scary. And there's always going to be something scary, because the scariest thing, and I learned this in working out as well, but the scariest thing is usually the thing you need to do.
Yeah.
And I say that, learning that from working out, because there's usually a certain way that you do things when you're working out, a certain rep range, a certain weight, certain exercises, and you don't like to do other things. Like a guy who loves to lift heavy and never does cardio probably needs to do cardio. A guy that only does cardio and thinks like, oh, I don't need to do weights all that often, probably needs to go and get some heavy weights like on top of them or something. You know, the things that you veer away from are usually the things that you should be steering towards.
Yeah.
I find.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It's very similar in life.
And that's something I can work on too, because I always just want to do the things that I know I'm going to be successful at.
Yeah. Yeah.
And thinking about not being good at something is really scary.
Yeah. Yeah. See, because of my life of not being good at things for so long, for so long, just not being good at school, just not being good at things, that I've never had that. And then also going into the entrepreneurial route from the time I was like 16, pretty much until now, right? Just embracing uncertainty has been very easy for me. It's embracing organization that's been hard, and structure. But like the uncertainty of like, I'll try and let's see. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's all this is. Yeah. Yeah.
True.
That's all this stuff is. I met you when I bought not this exact stuff, but when I started learning this stuff.
Yeah.
Like I bought it all off a guy that I was working in a factory with. And I was like, I can do this. And slowly it just started happening.
Yeah.
Not in the way I thought at all. I actually, for anybody still listening, I wanted to be a journalist for Vice. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be like the Anderson Cooper of Vice. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go on location and do stuff like that for Vice. For Vice in particular, I was like, I'm going to work for Vice before they changed, because they completely changed.
I'd say they've changed a lot just in the last few years.
Oh, so much. They used to be incredible. They used to cover incredible stories, just incredible things. Before they sold to Fox, I believe they sold to Fox. Oh, before that, it was so crazy, the stuff they would do.
Yeah.
It was amazing, the stories they would tell. And that really inspired me, and I wanted to do that. And it never took form like that. But I do have a show idea that is kind of similar to that I'm gonna do in time. 2024, I guess. I gotta take hold of that. That's another thing in 2024 I have to do. The show. I have to start that.
Yeah.
You guys will learn about that soon enough. Everybody's always like, "What is this? All this the Joe Rogan clips?" buddy. Been doing this for 10 years. I got plans. Don't worry. I see. The thing is with me, I have no problem taking time to do things, especially now at the point we're at. It's like I can take time to make a thing, and don't worry. There's plans. I have many plans. I'm not doing this exact thing until I'm 50. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I'm sure it'll go well.
Yeah, of course.
You know, that's the thing, especially if you're talking about not being good at things and having it be scary. The things that you go after, they turn into something. I noticed that. Everything that you go after turns into something. And if it doesn't turn into that exact thing evolving into you being like an expert, it turns into the tool or like the key to the next thing.
Yeah.
That's what I notice in life.
Yeah, that'll lead you to it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Like for years, there was a year straight where I was on Instagram just making art.
Yep.
I would just like sit on my phone and just make art. And then now when I have to make like 30 thumbnails a week, I'm like, yeah, no problem. I know how to do this. Like it didn't make any sense while I was doing it, but now all of a sudden it's like, oh, thumbnails.
Makes
okay.
sense.
I'm really good at this. I'm really click, done.
Know
how
to
use all
do
the
everything.
programs. Yeah. So you never know. You never know where it's leading you to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what else? Do you have another thing?
No, that was it.
Okay. So I have another thing. You have to try as much as possible because he's like doesn't even want to try and have kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to try as much as possible. You really do. You really, really do. And in an odd way, he knows that because of all the stuff that he's done.
Yeah.
But
I forgot to mention that he actually, in between his stint in different bands and I think in between 2 army tours, he went to Tibet and studied and learned at a monastery.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So he should know better than a lot of us.
Yeah, about trying things.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, Special Forces, Airborne, Ranger, like so many accommodations, so many things he's done.
Yeah. So like
Wild.
in all other aspects of life, he seems fearless.
Yeah, right? But that's the thing. You'll run from things and you'll do it in a fearless way, but in actuality, it's because you fear something else.
Yeah. It's funny what
Yeah.
some people define as hard and other things they define as easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very true. Very true. Because all of that, that's just like what he did.
Yeah.
But then,
And that was no problem.
yeah. But then when it's like, you should have a kid, he's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of,
Exactly.
you know, it's interesting. It's interesting. David Goggins is like that too. Very much so. Yeah, very, very much so. He can do like anything, but it's like, yeah, why don't you have like 3 kids and be a dad? And he's like, I got a lot of stuff to do instead. It's like, okay, maybe you're supposed to be a dad.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, when you see all those accommodations from Jason there, it's like you're gonna be a great dad. You're gonna make like a great kid. Like, just do it. You're gonna like make a great kid. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like Cameron Haynes. Cameron Haynes, in his story, if you don't know who Cameron Haynes is, good friend of Joe Rogan, check him out. He's amazing. Has a podcast called the Keep Hammering Podcast. He was like an alcoholic, and like his dad, very hard relationship that they had. He was like an alcoholic. He was talking about driving drunk all the time. You know, he'd go one place to have drinks and like wake up at home and not remember how he got home, like blackout drunk driving. And he turned it around. He like buckled down. He has kids, and such a good example of someone that could have been afraid to have kids, but now he has like these 2 incredible kids. Like one of them, I think both of them are hunters, because Cameron Haynes is one of the best bow hunters in the world. I think both of them hunt. One of them broke the world record. He took it from David Goggins, actually. World record of pull-ups.
That's incredible.
Did like 8,200 or something like that. Just an astounding amount of pull-ups. I think one of them's name's Truitt. The other one's name's Tanner. And they're just rock star kids. And
That's
it's like
great.
they didn't take, and you know, they still have a life to live. I don't think either of them are, the oldest one might be your age, probably younger, but they still have a life to live. But neither of them have gone the route of drinking too much, or neither of them have gone down the dark road that he went down.
Yeah.
They're both just amazing. And that happens too.
That's great.
You know, you got to have the confidence to know that you're going to be better than the people that came before you.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that comes into educating your kids about what you went through as well.
Yeah.
Because if Cameron Haynes hadn't had a conversation with his kids about alcoholism and where he was, they could have gone down a very different path.
Yeah, he's probably had the conversation, but even if he hasn't, like, there's a 5-hour podcast with Jocko where he talks about it. There's a book, audio book.
Yeah, like it's not a secret.
In depth about it, like really talks about it. So yeah, they understand. That's the best thing. I remember having a friend who went to, he did like a long stint in jail. He's gone through addiction, gone through everything you could go through. Jail, women, wildlife, crazy, like just all sorts of craziness. And I remember his son didn't even know that he smoked weed. And I'd be like, yo, why don't you tell your kid like the stuff you went through? He's like, no. I'm like, but your kid's going to get to an age where he's going to think that you're perfect.
Yeah.
And he's not going to know that he could turn to you about anything. You know? I always thought that was, you know, you can't tell anybody how to father your kids, but I always thought that was wrong. Because I was like, if he knew everything you've been through, he'd be like, oh, thank God. Okay. So there's a guy who has a knife and he's my friend. Should I be around him? And you'd be able to be like, no.
Yeah.
You'd be able to, you know, there's more respect, I think, when it comes to kids, if you tell them everything you've been through.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's hard too. Because like your kid grows up thinking that you're the best person in the world.
Well, you're supposed to, well, yeah.
And then you have to disillusion them at some point.
Well, that's not a disillusion. Because that thing that they see, that amazing person, went through all of this to become that. It's not a disillusion. It just it makes sense all of a sudden. It's like, oh, okay. So all of the hard things I go through are going to add up to things.
Yeah.
All of the terrible things I go through are going to add up to something incredible one day. If I keep pushing through.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like, It's not a disillusion. It's just it's I would think it would be a relief, because to think that your parents just grew up perfect would be like, well, I'm not perfect. I'm not like them.
Yeah.
I'm nothing like them.
True.
I have all these things and all this darkness and all this uncertainty, and I'm not confident. Like, but if all of a sudden you let them know that you were like that too, and that you still have some things where you feel like that, they'll be like, oh, okay. Okay. Now I get it. Now it's okay. You know? Joe Rogan talks a lot about that. He says whenever his kids mess up and do something, he always lets them know he's done worse.
Well, that's a good way to be too.
Yeah. He always says, like, I did way worse than you when I was your age. And that kind of, helps them go, okay, not so bad.
Yeah.
They get over it. I'm going to do that with our kids. When they wet the bed, I'm going to be like, wet the bed? I did that too. Don't worry. They're going to be like, okay.
Okay.
They're going to feel okay about it. You know? I'm going to tell them you did too. I'm going to be like, your mom did it yesterday.
Yeah. That's okay. You can believe me.
How funny would that be? When they tell people.
Oh my gosh.
And then another thing in the podcast or in the clip, you can decide what you think. Like, he decided to think that way, Joe Rogan, when he's talking about the babies and that whole aspect. He just decided to start thinking that way. And I think that's an important thing for anybody going into the new year that feels like they're stuck. You can decide how you think.
Yep.
You can decide who you are. You can decide how you go about things in life. And it doesn't always have to be the same story that you've always had.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't. Like, you can just be different. Like, it's a great thing. Jim Rohn, if you guys don't know who Jim Rohn is, look up Jim Rohn. He is a great sage-like, one of these motivational guys. Actually, Tony Robbins' mentor, Jim Rohn. He would always say this weird thing. He'd be like, "You're not a tree. You can move." He had this very weird voice, weird nasally voice. You're not a tree. You can move. And it's true, because you're not stuck. Like, that's what he's trying to say. You're not stuck where you are.
Yeah.
Like, you can go other places if you see fit.
Yeah.
You know, no one has the destiny of a tree. Anybody can, like, go places and do things. And then the last thing I had is people really do forget to have kids.
Yeah. It's crazy.
They do forget.
Yeah.
Because you have to think from 21 to, say, like, for a woman, 21 to 31, maybe 32, 33. If you don't look into how that works as you get older, some 33-year-olds might not even know. Like, oh, I knew I had limited time, but how limited?
Yes.
Then they start to realize, how limited is it?
Yeah.
Well, how many years do I have left?
When you have a kid, if you're pregnant at 35, they call it a geriatric pregnancy.
Wow.
Yeah, 35 not old. That's what they call it, though. It's insane. So, like, you don't have that much time.
Wow, a geriatric pregnancy.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And then you're at higher risk for everything, according to
That's wild.
the medical industry. So you have to kind of plan it out so that you're done by 35.
Yeah, true. Wow.
And I know a lot of people have very healthy kids after that.
Yeah,
and that's
course.
amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it's classified as.
I feel like, what was my mom? She's 21. 12 years later, how old would she be? 33? I guess she had me at 33.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess she was done right then. Wow. Almost got geriatric on me.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. But like you said, the years between 21 and mid 30s are really when you're like building your career.
Yeah.
So if things start taking off, you start making moves, you're trying to do things for yourself.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It doesn't have to be, like, you don't have to just focus on your career. And I think a lot of younger people don't realize that, you know? You don't have to only focus there. You could focus on, like, for a man or a woman, you could focus on, you know, you still need career, maybe still need money, etc. But you could focus also on being a husband. You could focus on also being a wife.
Yeah.
You could say, I want to be a wife.
But the issue with that too is, like, before you become a wife,
You got to support yourself.
you have to support yourself, and you don't want to be seen by men as a gold digger, just looking for somebody to take care of them for their life.
Yeah, but you won't get seen as a gold digger. Like, I don't know, if you, I would think if you explain your situation properly, if someone's actually taking the time to get to know you, they're going to know you're not a gold digger. You know? Because most men who end up with gold diggers are looking for gold diggers.
That's true. They like seek them out.
Yeah, they really do. Like, everybody acts like these gold diggers are like attacking people. It's like they present themselves very,
they're very honest.
It's not even honest. Like, they expect so much. They want certain things. They're looking for a certain amount of money that you're making, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, they're very open.
Yeah.
So it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise.
Yeah.
You know? It's not like you're like you own a garage. You know, you own a shop. And some gold digger that's expecting $1 million is like, oh, come here. She's not going after you.
That's true.
She's making sure she's in rooms where she could dig.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's very true. I don't know. So I don't think that you'd be seen as a gold digger if you're just like, especially if you're having the conversation, which I think a lot of men would like, especially nowadays. You're having the conversation of, yeah, I have my career, but it's not my main focus because I do want to be a wife and mother. That is what I want from my life. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to mother kids and to be a wife. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping to do that full time. And I'm hoping that I can aid my husband in whatever it is he does so we can accomplish that. Yeah. Most guys would be like, okay. They'd be like, wow, what? Okay.
Yeah. If you find a good guy.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have to, you have to do your part of finding a good guy. Yeah. It's like a guy has to find a good woman, but I don't know. A lot of people do forget. They just push it aside. And guys too. A lot of guys too. I know guys who are 42 and it's like they're still
like undecided.
Tender. Yeah, undecided. What are you doing?
Yeah, you gotta make a decision there, pal.
Marry somebody. Find somebody good, but get married, man, because it's great. It is a great thing. We don't talk about that enough. Mm-hmm. We just don't. I had this conversation just the other day, just yesterday with my buddy Dre. I was talking about how like there's no representation for just regular people.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not enticing enough. It's not enticing enough to be a man that just wants to have a wife and kids and just take care of them. It's not enticing enough to just be a woman who wants to do right by her husband and is okay being a wife and a mother. Mm-hmm. It's just not enticing enough. It gets looked down upon for some reason.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird, but it is great. It is a great thing to do. It's a great thing to experience.
Yeah. I always see all those podcasts with like all those like OnlyFans girls and things. And the guys are like
debates.
Asking them questions. Yeah. And I wish they would just put like I don't know, one or two regular quote unquote like normal girls in there.
Normal girls and normal guys.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something. Normal guys don't sit around and be like, let me find the lowest intelligent girl that I think is low intelligence and like debate her. Let me just own this chick. And that's not a regular guy.
No.
You got an issue, buddy.
Yeah, that's
You're
true.
a weird person.
Yeah.
You're looking for girls like that to demean them or like put them down on what they're doing.
Yeah.
You're weird. You're very odd at that point.
Yeah.
If I had a friend like that, I'd be like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, what does that give you?
Yeah, what are you doing? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to inspire? Like, are you trying to inspire? Because a lot of them claim to want to inspire men. Like, what are you trying to inspire them to do? Are you trying to inspire them to think that all women are like this?
Yeah.
You know? And then what are the women trying to do? Are you trying to inspire young women to do what you're doing?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, what is that whole thing? It's weird. I watch that stuff a lot. It's fun. It's fun to watch. It is. It's fun to watch, but it's just like, what's going on here? What are they trying to do? I wish there would just be a couple of guys who are just regular guys. Like, shout out to Theo Von for like interviewing a garbage man.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember that interview.
Yeah, he had some weird stories, but he's just a regular guy.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like he was a garbage man who just wrote a book and a bestseller. He was like, no, I'm just going to my job after this.
Yeah.
There should be more of that.
Yeah.
Just talking to guys like that. Like, on those panels, there should be a couple of guys where it's just like, I have 4 kids. I have my wife. Mm-hmm. And I like that. And there should be a couple of women where it's like, I have 3 kids. And I love my husband.
Yep.
There should be some of that to balance it out.
Yeah.
Because what happens when those two, then, which is probably why they're never on there, all of a sudden you see how weird both sides are. the guys who are like owning these chicks and the girls who are like, you know, the only fan, like whatever. You start to see how weird both sides are.
Yeah.
You go, oh, this is just all weird. And I think I really do, you know, because I always put on my conspiracy Speedo, my tinfoil Speedo. I always put it on. And I really do think that there's a little bit of they that don't want that. They don't want those people to be highlighted.
Yeah.
They don't
the
want
normal
people.
life.
They don't want people to be inspired to just, you know, build community and have family.
Yeah.
You know, I really do think that. I don't know. Because the algorithms don't work towards that.
That's true.
You know?
It goes towards the extremist views.
Yeah, the Spotify deals don't work towards that. Like nothing that would give them a huge platform work towards that. Elon Musk is not going to have his algorithm push that more. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing. But it's not on the side of the nuclear family, I think.
No.
I wanted this to be a little longer, but I think we went through everything. Mm-hmm. And, you know, just for 2024, we're going to do another New Year's episode right after this, I think.
Yeah.
I think we're going to stretch and go to the washroom and stuff. But yeah, for anybody who's just chilling on New Year's, you know, good. Chill.
Yeah.
And if you don't have anybody, replay this or watch the 1,000 videos that I've put out in the past year. I think it's at 1,000. Pretty sure, something like that, maybe 900. You can watch some of those, or you know, go watch an old episode of Joe Rogan. I would say anything with him and Duncan Trussell, him and Kevin Smith. The episode with him and Kevin Smith, that's really good, really good. They both cry in that episode over their dogs.
Oh.
Yeah. Joe Rogan talks about a dog that he had that passed away. And
that's sad.
Kevin Smith talks about one. They're both literally in tears.
Oh.
Just talking about how sweet their dogs are. Talks about his mom having a heart attack. They're just like, yeah.
And then dogs.
But yeah, dogs are just
get 'em.
in tears. It's so funny. But yeah. I would suggest those episodes. Anything else, honey?
Nope.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy 2024. Make sure that you get some things done that you've never done before. Mm-hmm. Do some stuff you've never done before. Do the things that the little voice, not the evil voice, the conscious voice that tries to push you to do better, do some of the things that voice has been telling you to do for a very long time. And other than that, we are out.
Bye.